Here with Stockton Thunder head coach Rich Kromm for the final edition of the weekly coaches interview here in 2013-2014. Coach, we've had a couple days now to digest from the end of the season. How do you assess this previous campaign for your team?
Well, I think it was up and down for us. I think we started really well, and I think we went through some tough times mid-season with some of the call-ups and some of the situations we had. A tough stretch in February with the road travel that we had, and I think at the end of the day, going into the playoffs, we felt really confident with the team that we had. We were strong throughout our lineup, goaltenders right through our back end in our forward group. So had a great start in that first round. I think we did exactly what we wanted to do and needed to do in that first round. I think some injuries took their toll on us going into the second round. It was funny that it happened within 4 games, but at the start of the series we talked about how bodies had to be on the line and guys had to be competing and doing whatever it took to win hockey games. We did that in the first round and we paid a price for it, but that's the way it goes.
From a coaching standpoint, it has to be at least a little bit frustrating when you're getting those victories, but you're constantly, it seemed like you were losing one guy out of the lineup per game almost for a little bit there. How tough is it when you're constantly having to go back to the drawing board, redoing lines, reshuffling players and power plays and penalty kills and all that stuff, especially when you're in the midst of the playoffs?
I mean, for me, it's just a matter of trying to make sense of what's going to work or what I think is going to work for the team and get some input from our guys as to what their thoughts were on what we needed to do. But obviously we needed to plug some people into spots where they had some experience. Gags and Rosie both had to play some defense for us, which they had done throughout the season. But obviously not their strength of position. I think with that being said, they all came in and did a good job. I think we saw great efforts by James Henry when he had to get plugged in. He didn't play every game. He played a handful of games, but every game that he played, he contributed big time for us, and that's what you need. I mean, we had depth going in, but we had obviously a few too many, I think, injuries, but I still believe that Bakersfield series was there to be had.
Now, I've been asking the players here in the past couple of days about things that they learned and changed and saw how they developed throughout the season. Anything that you noticed from a coaching standpoint and just areas where you found, different success with a group of guys different from other teams you've had in the past?
Well, I think just looking at the some of the young guys coming in and how they were able to develop and sort of progress throughout the year. I think you look at Matthew, and I had a conversation with him yesterday, and his goal ultimately is to be a forward at the National Hockey League level. And so being a defenseman through his junior career, he's had to make that transition, and he had an opportunity to play some forward, quite a bit of forward for us this year. And I think he's learned and become a better player, a better winger, and understands his role and can compete. But he has that flexibility where we can use him as a defenseman. It's going to benefit him being a defenseman and now seeing through the eyes of a winger. He understands what it's like to be a winger and his responsibilities and how important it is for a winger to be where he needs to be for defensemen on breakouts and battling to get pucks out when the D are under pressure. He understands that side of it a little better, I think, now, and just seeing him grow as a player was good to see.
Now, we've had some great games and some great moments here throughout the 2013-14 season. Any that stand out for you from some of these different themed games we've had or interacting with the Stockton Thunder fans here in your first season out in California?
Well, obviously the one that stands out was the paint the ice. Nobody really knew how that was going to work out for us, but I think from a playing perspective, there was no issues. I think everybody was able to see the puck well enough, and from our fans' perspective, it was fun for them to be involved. It was something that I think obviously put us on a bit of a national stage, and some of the NHL teams took note of it and then implemented it themselves. So it was fun to do and fun to be a part of.
Now, we've got the off season here, unfortunately, coming up a little bit earlier than Thunder fans would have liked, but take me through the process here in terms of player assessment, and now, of course, at the end of the season, you have to put out the protected list as you look forward to the next campaign.
Yeah, that'll go out at the end of the month here, and it's a pretty simple thing to do for me. It's just getting all of our players that were signed to be put on that protected list, and then the real decision making and judgment calls come when we have to get our qualifying offers out a little later in the summer, where we can qualify 8 players. We have, I believe, 12 of our own, but if we can get some of those guys signed early, it allows us to to be able to qualify everybody that we want to, and then the process is going to be talking to guys, and as we go through the summer, seeing where they're at, because there's other opportunities out there for them. I mean, some players are looking at Europe, some guys are going to be looking to get American Hockey League deals. So from the successes that they had, we're going to see opportunities for Joey Martin, Andrew Clark, some of those guys present themselves. So it's just patience for us, and keep doing the recruiting at the other side of it for college guys, junior guys coming out and building a team again. So that's what we're going to be going through here in the next little while.
Coach, I know I speak for our fans when I say thank you very much for your openness and your insight throughout this season, and best of luck as we head towards next year.
Thanks, Caleb, to you and all your efforts too, and Brandon as well. And this is the locker room at the end of the year.